Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to each and everyone present here. A very good evening, a very good afternoon. I can see people here from all the different parts of the world, different parts of India as well. So, very warm welcome to one and all present here. Mr. Devishish, Mr. Ravi, Miss Reshma, Miss Kavita, and all those who are celebrating Diwali today and tomorrow. A very heartily congratulations on Diwali. So, today, let me take an opportunity to welcome all of you to this webinar where we'll be talking about review paper publication. So, and let us go ahead in that. So, we are organizing these um, webinar, as you all know, on the behalf of Research Graduate. So, Research Graduate is the organization which conducts these webinar. So, let us talk a little about uh, you know talk about research graduate. See, I understand that we all come across certain situations where we don't get to find much about our right kind of topics, right kind of statistical analysis, and right kind of proposal drafting, research paper writing, and all that. So at that time, you may rely on research graduate and you may trust upon the name. So, research graduate is a one stop solution for all your research queries, for all your you know research concerns. So be it research paper writing, your editing, proofreading, formatting, statistical analysis, or even if you are looking forward to for a topic selection, please go ahead with the research graduate and just give a call to us on this number, or you may browse us on researchgraduate.com, or you can just write an email to us and we are there for you. Regarding this webinar structure, as I tell you always in this webinar before, whatever the webinars we conduct in the past, that we generally go for the webinars around 85 to 90 minutes or so, followed by um, 30 minutes of question and answer sessions, which generally, we don't stick to time. As many questions we come across, we try to answer all of them. So it is like whatever questions we have, we answer all of them. Okay. When it comes to PPTs, when it comes to recordings, when it comes to certificates, it will be sent to all of you on your registered email ID. So please ensure the right email ID, whatever you have sent to us, whatever email ID you have registered with us, please ensure it is the right one. And lastly, but not the least, that this come across as the most raised query, that many of you, that you say that the picture quality is not good, or screen is not good, and so on. That in that case, please raise your video quality to 720p. Okay, 720p. Please increase to that, and in order to have that better YouTube quality. And also, if anyone of you have joined from phone, they also can have probably little concerns in visualizing the screen or so, or probably some or the other time technology, we don't have much of the control. But all those who have joined from phone, they might can experience. But in order to have a better quality, please raise to this dimensions. All right. Okay, now it's time to let's jump start with our webinar. Okay, so as I told you that we'll be talking about the review papers. So now in that, let us first talk about what is a scientific paper. Okay, see, Now, all of you are from a research fraternity. When I say research fraternity, so I take all of you, either you are a researcher, or you are a academician, or you are a aiming researcher, like somebody, who is looking forward for a PhD, somebody who is looking forward for a postdoc, or you know I am planning for MPhil, or somebody who is looking for his or her MBA project or so. So somewhere or the other, any one of you who has joined this webinar, they are from the they have their connection from the research fraternity, right? So for you, all of you, it's very important to have a hands on the concept clarity of scientific paper. Okay. Now, when we talk about scientific paper is basically that whenever you have something new to share, okay, like you have gone through and understanding about what has happened, like you have chosen a topic, like you want to understand that I want to know that what impacts a child behavior when he or she looks towards a new toy. Okay. What impacts? Like what happened in his or her mind when he or she looks to a new toy. All right. Okay. Now there are various papers on it. Various studies are there. Okay, right? Now nobody has talks about that what happens or what he or she wants to do with that toy, like psychologically what goes on into her mind, that particular aspect. Okay, so that is the gap which you have found, and that particular area you want to work on. So with the help of your study, you want to present those observations to the world. Okay, those were the novel observations. Whatever studies you have conducted, whatever observations you have given to the world, whatever findings you have presented in your paper, and whatever paper studies you have conducted, whatever uh, mm, details you have given in your paper. So all this you have conducted and you have scripted in a paper, and you have filled that gap, which you have found out that nobody have understood that what exactly psychologically an impression is being created by a toy on a child's psychology. Okay, so basically a scientific paper try to fill that gap by sharing out new observations or new findings or new results to the world. Okay, scientific papers are basically also, they are being written with specific characteristics, or they are being, why I say specific characteristics, because you are trying to publish them in journals. You want to publish them in a journal, so every journal has their specific guidelines according to which you need to write the paper, according to which you need to script the paper, and then you will proceed with the publication. Okay, so every paper has specific characteristics. That's why it's been also been called as journal articles. Okay, one of the peculiar characteristics of scientific paper is that they are being reported by researchers, and they are original piece of observations. They are original piece of observations. They have new results being discussed by researchers. One thing. Another thing is that through these scientific papers, the researchers first review what has been done by others, then they find out the gap, and with the help of their own paper, they fill the gap. That means whatever work they do, they present it with the help of their own paper, and in those paper, the results are the new results. All right? Okay, let's move ahead. Before I move ahead, I have a small request that if anybody has a question, kindly make a note of this question and we'll discuss the question like we always do. We'll discuss the question once we are done with the presentation. All right? Okay. Okay. Again, further in the discussion of scientific papers, a scientific paper basically is that return report wherein your original results, whatever findings, so when I say results, so whatever findings you have come across, they are being presented in a specific format. Okay, they are being presented in a specific format and they are being published ready. So when I say published ready, so you can send them for any journal and you can send them for any proceedings for the publication. All right, and these scientific papers, they actually presents any scientific work, any ongoing scientific research that this kind of work is being already, or this kind of scientific work is it been already in the process of uh, you know it has been already in the process of research. So one example I have been given like this, I've been given now on one thing I want to discuss, that there is a standard structure. The standard structure is there for the scientific papers. However, there is no particular structure. Now standard structure, when I say that, okay, one introduction would be there, methodology would be there, discussion would be there, standard is there, but there no particular is there, that there's no hard and fast rule that you need to follow that only. Every journal, whatever journal you are following, that you, okay, fine, I need to send my paper to ABC journal, so you need to follow that particular journal guidelines in order to structure your paper to get the published ready for that according to that particular journal. All right. Okay, coming back to what we were discussing. Okay, now why we want to get a paper published, why we are getting why we want our papers to be published. It's a very easy to answer question. I mean, if I ask this question to all of you, those whosoever is in PhD, they'll straight away answer me this question is like, ma'am, this is PhD requirement. Those whosoever is in their jobs, they'll say that, ma'am, this is our job requirement. Those whosoever is in, you know they're looking for any project, they're their funding requirements. So different domains in which you're associated, paper publication is actually associated with different requirements. Okay, if you ask me as an academician, definitely it is important for my career growth. If you ask my students, it is important for them to for their PhD completion. Okay, if you ask my seniors, again it is for career growth. So it is different for different people and their credentials. Okay, all right, let's move on. Now, what are the type of different scientific papers? Most common one, the one with which you and me and mostly people are associated and concerned with, are research papers and conference proceedings and review articles. Okay, many a times book reviewers as well. However, when we talk about people who are associated with scientific background or science also, why I said people like me and many like me also, because I'm from management background, social sciences. So my background is for teaching into teaching management graduate postdoctoral students, doctoral students from like past 12 to 14 years. It's like from management students, okay? So for me, research paper, review papers, conference proceedings, it's of my main concern. Anybody who is from pharmacology, biotechnology, okay, or any science courses, for them, clinical trials, case studies, they also will be a concern. However, case study asks for management concerns as well. So depending upon your domains of interest, short communications also, conference proceedings also, letter to editors also, there are different types of scientific papers which are for research publications. Okay. See, I can see one question. However, I would refrain myself to take it at this point in time. We will definitely take each question of yours. Let us first get completed with our presentation. All right. Okay. Now, as I told you that there are some common one. So let's do a comparison among different published articles. Like there are some normal articles, some letters, research notes, supplemented articles, and review articles. Like most commonly one are review articles, book reviews, conference proceedings, and the case studies. Okay, so for you all, for your reference, I have given a comparison which you can see once once you receive this presentations. Okay, now this is what it is important for all of you to have a look. Okay, when we talk about journals, okay, when we talk about journals, so what important thing comes to our mind, or it is, I think it is very important for entire research fraternity these days, especially for academicians also, that which journal, I think I can see this question in the chat section also, where there are different journals, which journals are the best. See, when you are looking for the journals, you need to journal. You need to look for the good journals, and because there are too many journals to look for. Okay, and for a budding researcher, for a new researcher, it's like finding a needle from the bush. Finding a best journal, it's like finding a needle from the bush because there are too many. So basically, how to do that? It is to be done on the basis of journal indexing. Journal indexing is understand what is when what happened is I can relate when I was new to the world of research. I can relate it very well. I hope many of you also can relate it, because these all words like impact factor, indexing, all these words, they sounds like you all together you all together have come to an alien world. See, I'm not showing anything on screen right now, just listen to me. It's okay even if the screen is hazy, don't worry. So whenever you are in the company of 2 3 researchers, and they are kind of senior to you, and they are talking they're in their research language, so you kind of feel outcast from them. Like they're talking about indexing, impact factor, or abc journal or xyz journal. I don't understand anything. Then you feel that I don't belong to them. I don't know research at all. Don't feel like that at all. With these webinars, what I try my best is that I want that I explain research in the easiest language I can. Here, we'll try to understand indexing in that language only. When anybody says, what is the what is the indexing of that journal? Just one thing, that they are talking about the quality of that journal. That's it. When you're talking about indexed journal, that means they are talking about high quality journal. So any indexed journal is always a high quality journal, as compared to any journal which is a non quality journal. So the question is very clear that whether you want to publish your article in an index journal or a non index journal. Very clear? Very clear? Okay. So, first thing, indexing is a reflection of a quality of a journal, right? So, any researcher would like to publish in a index journal. There are a lot of ways, there are a lot many ways. It depends upon, you know, country to country also, that how they index their journals. So we need not to go there. It's, we need not to want to anybody who is still understanding how they're indexing. So you just for the timing, you just understand what is indexing. Okay. So basically, indexing is utilized to pick the right kind of journals. Okay, so when you are just new to the research world, just understand that if I am picking a journal, I need to pick a indexed journal. That means I am picking a qualitative journal. Okay, all right. Okay, so I have listed couple of indexed journal for your reference. Okay, all right. Okay. Now, comparison between index journals. So, Web of Science has a greater depth of scientific citations, while Scopus focus on more modern sources. This number can vary. I'm just again telling you these numbers can vary. So, just update these numbers. And next time, let me know too. Okay? Web of Sciences has more focus on Web of Sciences has more focus on the scientific sides. Okay, these numbers can vary, guys. So please just update these numbers for your references. That's it. See, when you talk about Scopus, see, understand what is focus. Here, your focus should be on understanding what is this focus is. Scopus is a database. Okay, like imagine you have a large cupboard. One section is for your jeans, one section is for your tees, one section is for your shirts, one section for your shoes, one section for your, socks and all that. So, Scopus is a large cupboard where you have lot of databases. Okay. Another thing, if you want to check one thing very important, if you want to check that which journal is Scopus indexed or which journal is not Scopus indexed, you can go on the website of Scopus and can check in the Excel sheet there. See, Scopus has lot of journals under education, life sciences, social sciences, biotechnology, physical sciences, health sciences, lot of journals. Many journals are there. Every year on their website, they release an Excel sheet, updated Excel sheet every year. On their website, only on the main page of the website, you will find the Scopus listed journals every year. On that Excel sheet, you will find that which journal is active with Scopus. Why I'm telling you is that many of the researchers who are not aware, because what happened is just in the race of getting your paper published, you guys pay to the publisher and they lure you that my art journal is Scopus Index. Pay us so and so money and we'll get your paper published in Scopus Index. But their paper was Scopus Index till February 2022. They claim it to be Scopus Index till today. So always check the status before you send your paper. And you can check it, especially with Scopus, by going out on their website. Download that Excel, find the name of the journal. If it is active, it will be active, written as active, since it will be written like that also. Okay, all right, let's move ahead. It is Web of Science. Similarly, Web of Science is also a database which is, subscription based, wherein it is mainly about science, social science, arts, humanities. It is about, your book citations, conference proceedings, and so on. Okay, now let's more talk about Web of Science. Here, all the journals which are submitted to the core of Webs of Science will be evaluated through following criteria. Just talking about Web of Science, whether the journals follow proper peer review. All the journals in the Web of Science will follow peer review, ethical publishing practices, technical requirements, good English. So, any journal which is being into the database of Web of Science, it you may consider it as of high quality. Okay, all right. Let's move ahead. Now, when you talk about Journal Finder, now in Journal Finder, you can find that check for the types of article published by the journals. Now, why I'm talking about Journal Finder is also a way that wherein what kind of articles that particular journal is publishing. Like, why I'm telling you this particular, that please don't fall into the trap of publishing any article into any journal. Okay, your article is on leadership and you are getting it published into finance journal. Okay, you need to publish it into a peer review journal. That means whether the journal is a peer review, that means if you publish an art, like I'm on the review panel of a journal which only publish an article once that article is being reviewed by reviewers. See, what we are discussing is that what are the different aspects of publications. So once your database is done, you know indexing different database. In Web of Science, there are different standards of databases, journals. In journal finders, you should know that my articles should be aligned with the type of journal. Okay, your journal should meet the criteria of the kind of article you are writing. Okay, also you should know that what is the acceptance and the rejection rate of the journal, what is the publication time of the journal. Like, you send an article to the journal and the journal is taking like 6, 7, 8 months. Do you have that much time with you? You should know that what all journals, let's say 5 journals, you decided that they meet the criteria for your article. But out of those 5 journals, only 3 can publish your paper within time. But out of that, only one have the acceptance rate which is closer to what you think that your paper should be able to meet. According to that, you should decide. Okay? All right. Moving ahead. Then, important tip before choosing a journal, especially from Elsevier, especially who is a new researcher. Whenever you are looking for a journal, whenever, every journal has a website. Okay? Go to the website, read the aim of the journal, about the journal, or specifically aim of the journal or scope of the journal. Then go to the guidelines for the authors. Okay? Always check if the journal is invitation only, as some of the journals, or articles are invited only by the authors. Okay. If you need to publish as the open access means if your article, let's say you publish an article, I need to read it, I need not to pay for it. Open access means if you publish an article, I need to read it, I need not to pay for it. And most Elsevier articles has open access. It should be mentioned on the journal. Okay. Second thing, try submit one paper to the one journal at time. Okay. All right. Let's move ahead. Then comes your journal matrices. Okay. Under journal matrices comes impact factor, which measures the number of time an average paper in this journal is cited. That means how many other authors have taken reference of this paper. Under general matrices, let me try this one. I hope this time the screen is clear. Under journal matrices, first thing is impact factor, which is also important when you are considering the journal for paper publication. Impact factor means how many times an average a paper is cited in the journal. Okay. Okay. SJR, that means Chicago Journal Rank, is a prestige matrix based on the idea that all citations are not created equal. Impact factor measures of the number of times an average paper in this journal is cited. All right. Please, another thing is that while you are looking for a journal, go for the journal matrix. Okay. Journal matrix will help you findings good paper. Journal matrix will help you findings good paper. All right. It will tell you, see, it will tell you that more and more authors are looking for the paper published in that journal. That's why they are citing their paper, the published paper in that journals, in their paper. Okay. I hope it is clear. All right. Now, another thing is article influence and Egan factor. So, Egan factor score, understand clearly. Egan factor score is a rating of the total importance of a specific journal. What is the total importance of a specific journal? So, journal are rated according to the number of incoming citations, with citations from highly ranked journal weighted to make larger contribution. That means, understand, Egan factor is the composite importance of a specific journal. That means whatever citations is being made for a journal from A to Z, that means n number of citations are being made, whatever number of papers are being published in that, any number of citations are being made out of the papers published in that particular journal, all those citations total is being Egan factor score. Article influence is being calculated when you divide the Egan factor score by the percentage of all the articles recorded in the journal citations. Okay. Now, why I am telling you these terms? Because Just in case you are going for any journal website, or you are just overhearing your colleagues or your seniors, so these terms should not look alien to you. Okay. However, please don't be afraid. Still, your impact factor indexing still top the charts in order to find a good journal for publication. Okay. All right. Now this is an example. All right. Okay. Now, coming for impact factor again. That's why I said impact factor still top the charts for finding the importance of a journal. Now, when I say impact factor of an academic journal, basically it is being calculated by the yearly average, whatever is the yearly average of the number of citations are being published, of the articles are being published in the last 2 years of a given journal. So in the last 2 years, whatever citations are being made, let's say there is a journal, there are paper published in that journal. So the citations made of those papers published in that journals been called by had been called the average of those citations are called by impact factor. Okay, so whenever you are looking for any journal, just look for the impact factor. Okay. All right. Okay, now this is the use of the impact factor. So just most important use is to select the journal. Okay, the most important use is the select. And whenever you are even when you are going for an interview also, whenever you are arranging your CV also, so it is a good practice that your publication reflects high impact factor journals. Okay. All right. Additional rating factor here, H index. Now, this also I would like to just give a hint of it because you must have come across this term as well. Um, H impact factors, basically it is corresponding to a scientist uh, H of his or her end paper that has been cited at least H times. Okay, that means H means that H times this has been paper has been cited. I index paper means I 10 index refers to that number of paper with 10 or more citations. If we are saying that I index, that means this paper has been cited with 10 or more citations. It has been cited. G index is the biggest number, such as top G articles received, means it's the highest of all, means it's highest than H or I also. Okay. All right. Now here we'll take a short break. We'll take a quick break and we'll come exactly after 5 minutes. All right. Thank you so much. We'll take exactly 5 minutes break. Hello, guys. So we are back. All right. All right. So now, since we have got an idea about the journals and, just we had a look into the uh, journals and how to select a journal, the matrices and all, it's time to have a look on the publication process. See, sometimes what happens is that we get clueless about the publication process itself. The whole publication process looks tedious to us. We get lost sometimes where to start and all that stuff. So, your paper is ready. You've decided a journal. I told you that, now how to decide a journal. Let me tell you, just give a brief about it. You know your stream, you know your or area of interest where you are writing a paper about. So, in that, try to look into the high impact factor journals. Okay. Now, let me clear you one thing. If you are a new researcher, please do not aim into high impact factor journals. Let me tell you a very harsh reality because all of you understand that, a high impact factor journals would definitely aiming for a good quality papers because they would be aiming for quality, and we being new researchers would not be able to deliver that kind of quality. I'm not demotivating here, I'm telling you that when our paper get rejected, so we kind of detract ourselves from writing process completely. So in that, what you do that mediocre level to start with, mediocre level journals are okay also to start with. Okay, so your journal is also started. Okay, now once you submit your manuscript, so once your paper is, now here I say manuscript, it's not a paper because it's into publication, it's not a finalized one. Okay, you get a tracking number, you get a reference number. Okay, your manuscript is being assigned with a editor. Okay, so the team will work on it and they send it out for the review. All right, now whether the paper will be sent it out for the review or not, I mean whether it will be completely rejected, I mean it is not even of that quality that it can be further sent it out for the review, that will be there and then decided by the editor team. If it will be rejected, the editor will reach out to you. Okay, and they'll be tell it to you. If not, they'll be send it out for the reviewers. So reviewers like us, they send it out the paper to us. Okay, now I'll tell you what happened when they send the paper to us. We receive the paper, the manuscript, and then we agree to review the manuscript. Beyond that, further I can't tell you. Okay, now once we review the paper, we send our report to the editor. Whatever rejection, we also can reject the manuscript. Rejection or some sort of we think that some kind of improvement can be done. Some suggestions we suggest or something. So whatever suggestions or whatever discussions we have made, then the editor on the basis of that makes the final decision. Okay, now in this process, the communication between the reviewer and the editor has been constantly going on. Okay, it's been constantly going on. If the decision is completely negative, that we as a reviewer think that the manuscript cannot be further be progressed, then we finally say that it cannot be progressed, and we say it cannot be accepted. That means the decision is completely negative and it is being communicated to the author. Okay, in that case, that doesn't mean that your manuscript is bad. Let me tell you, that does not mean that your paper is bad. You may send it to another journal. Understand this thing. Okay? You may send it to another journal. But please take into consideration, if you have been sent some consideration that your manuscript misses this, or some suggestions are being there for the further improvement along with the rejection. Okay, all right. Then understand what is open access. Now, open access, in short, what is that? In open access, whenever you come across that open access journals are those journals which does not come across with any cost from the reader to read that journal. That does not make the journal bad. Okay? In short, just understand, open access journal means it's open for all to read, does not come across with any subscription cost for the readers to pay. All right? Okay. Now, ISSN number. Now, why these numbers are important for you to know? Because whenever you are citing, whenever you are writing, whenever you are putting citations, whenever you are putting references, these citations are being asked with ISSN number. So, these are unique numbers which are being given to the each publications. Okay? So, ISSN is International Standard Serial Number. DOI is a digital object identifier. Okay? All right. Okay. Now here also you may see, if you see the barcode, these initial first three digits are publication type. Then the next set of digit represents the ISSN. This represents the digit. This represents the edition variant. You may check this, this also. Okay. All right. Then this is very, very important for the health of all your researches. Predatory journals. I think this is very, very important for all. See, all of you who have questions, we will take it by the end of the presentation. Don't worry. Okay, don't worry. Predatory journals are actually eating the quality of your researches these days. You can see, and in no time, you fall into the trap of these journals. You will see that so many publishing houses are unwillingly, you don't want them to approach you, but they approach you with so and so journals or so and so proceedings. We'll get your paper published here and we'll get your paper published there and so on. And in no time you say yes to them. Okay, if your paper is published in a predatory journal, firstly your research is wasted because it's just published somewhere, and then you have shared your research to someone whom who is not authenticated, firstly, right? Whom you do not trust upon. So your paper is shared with a non authenticated source. So please make sure that you ensure the what do you say that whether it's a predatory journal or not, or I have listed down the links also that how you can do that. Okay, but just because the universities and the today, i I really sometimes don't get to know. I really fail to believe or fail to understand this thing, that how people in a year published 6 papers, 8 papers. How it is possible to publish 8 papers in a year? If you are actually writing quality work, is it actually easy to produce 8 papers in a year? But people are doing it. So please don't fall into the I it's okay to maintain the quantity, but just don't dilute your quality. 2 paper, 3 papers in a year are absolutely good to go with, but it should be quality. Okay? Paid papers, paid journals are not bad, but authenticated journals. All the paid journals are not bad. Don't associate it that paid journals are bad. No. Ensure their authentication, but quality also. Okay? All right. Then, identification of predatory journals, I have mentioned here. The process is, entry into the directory of open journals must meet the strict criteria. Okay, so I have mentioned the link also. Now, while choosing the journal for yourself, scope of the journal you should know. It should match with your paper. Journal, if they are publishing leadership oriented paper and your paper is also on leadership, go for it. Impact factor, indexing, we have talked about. Peer reviewed journal, go for it. Publishing time, 3 to 6 months. Okay, 6 months is also of, it's on the high side. Acceptance rate, look for it. Reach of journals, yes, reach of journal is very important. How many people the journal is reaching out to? Okay, what is the restriction for the journal? And obviously predatory journals, definitely predatory publishers you should reach out to. See, one important thing, when you are not being aware of predatory publishers, they take your data, and you know data is money these days. Rest, what they can do it, right? Now let's have a look on the basic steps of the publications. You're done with the basic research. Your work at your end is done. Your manuscript is ready, right? Okay, you have written the paper, good pictures, quality image, everything is done, table, graphs, done. You submit the manuscript in journal or conferences, anything. Then your manuscripts get reviewed. 2 or 3 persons are reviewed. Okay, feedback needs to be considered and applied. You have got 2 to 3 comments which needs to be get applied. Okay, decision came. Decision came that you need to revise the paper. Again you need to do everything. Okay, then decision is depending on the feedback. Paper is accepted or rejected. If rejected, paper is gone. If accepted, it is published. Very simple. Okay, all right. Now perform the research work. Now, in case of research paper, high quality data needs to be generated. It's very important for all of you researchers. When you are actually doing any research paper, especially for the PhDs, you need to perform research works. It helps you for a PhD also. Okay, good quality of literature, good quality of data collection, good quality of your data analysis, concise all, and produce a good quality of research paper. Okay. Then, once all that is done, your manuscript should be prepared, your journal should be identified. Okay. Whatever consent form, because once the journal is identified, they need related documents also, like it is not plagiarism, it is not copied paper. You consent that you have taken consent from all the participants while taking the data from all the people. Okay, your paper is unique and so and so. Then you submit the document to the journal. All right. Then, if the paper is submitted, if any comments come, you need to submit the comments. Then you need to wait for the feedback. Okay. Then peer review process starts, editorial process starts. Peer review, excuse me, sorry. Peer review process and editorial process take times actually. If it needs revision, it makes take time. Every peer review takes 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. If it does not take revision, as I told you earlier, it's take for the publication. If it's rejected, gone case. Rejection from one journal does not mean your paper is bad. As I told you already, that means you may send it to another paper also. That's why we say that always look for the acceptance rate and the publication time for the journals. Okay. Okay. Then this is the process which we discussed. All right. Submission, editor screen manuscript, your peer review, whether to publish or not, and then decision is informed. Then revision before the submission. What you need to do once you are just ready for the submission, okay, in order to just avoid rejection. Why actually your rejection is happening? Many times what happen is, ma'am, my paper got rejected. I don't know why. I have just written it to the best of my capabilities. I don't know why it got rejected. Because your paper and the journal scope does not match. Okay. Your paper is of routine application. Same random sampling, same interview method, same old. Okay. Nothing new is in paper. You're aiming for a good journal, but paper is not new. What you should do is something new and unique research should come. So focus on the significance part of the conclusion part of the method of the paper. Research methodology should be strong. That's what we as a reviewer also check in the paper. Okay. All right. So when it comes to peer review, it can be the blind, also it can be signed, it can be collaborated, it can be different types also, right? So when you are looking for journal which is peer reviewed, obviously make your research unique one where your methods are unique, not just like every third paper has random sampling. So just make it unique paper. Okay. So while preparing, again I'm saying your title should be there, author details should be there, abstract should be there. I think somebody also has written Minakshi, I think. Abstract should be there, keyword should be there, main paper which has introduction, body of work, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, appropriate references, cover letter, and supplementary. Okay. Now when you say title, title should be catchy. Catchy as in it should be having your gist of the paper. It should be your title should speak about the paper. Okay. So before you go for the paper title, speak with your supervisor. Then your abstract. Your abstract is primarily, and also what should be the format of your abstract? If your journal has said that it should be your abstract format, please write your abstract in that format only. If they wanted any specific format, please write in that specific format. Okay? All right. Then, abstract basically wants you to write in any, you know, what do you say, highlighted work of your study. What is new in the study? What your study is unique about. Okay? Then comes your keyword. Now, keywords are very important. Why? I'll tell you. You want your paper to be come out of the search in, if your paper get published, you want your papers to be come out of your in in journals. So these keywords will help you. Okay? These keywords will help you in the journal search. Okay? So these keywords should reflect the uh, gist of your paper. Okay? All right. Now, when you're talking about actual publication, writing the paper, your introduction. Prepare an introduction which sets up a background for your reviewer. Okay, structure for your reviewer. Interest should be garnered for your reader. Details should be given. Paper structure should be given in your introduction only. Okay. Then your main body of your text. In this, your literature, your tables, all your paragraphs should be given. Now, here, your manuscript guidelines, whatever your paper structure should be, depends upon your journal in which you're sending your paper. Okay. Now, why I'm saying you, because your paper is actually will be structured according to your journal's requirement. Okay. So if your paper says that first is your paper's length should be 2500 word, it should be 2500 word. Introduction, this. You should structure your paper according to that. Okay. I am telling you what exactly should come into that section. Then comes your discussion, which is a very important part. It should be very clear, crisp, and you are supposed to tell your opinion in this. Rephrase the idea which you have stated in introduction, and how summarize your idea entire in your paper. Okay? Then come conclusion. This is a brief summary of your paper. Okay? Simply this is a brief summary of your paper. All right. Now, this is the cover letter which you will be sending. This is example which I'm stating. This is the cover letter which you will be sending with your paper to the editor. Okay, that this is my paper. This is important because so and so, sincerely. Okay, just attached some sample of it. Now, present tense, this is actually important because many of you does not know what kind of language and tenses should be used. Present tense are used for known fact and hypothesis. Past tense actually are used for experiments that has been published by authors, previously authors. If you are writing any hypothesis, for that you will use present tense. Past tense, which will be used for anything which is done by previous authors. Okay. Now, how a good script looks like? Easy to understand. A continuous flow is there. And simply, see, very jargon language, very difficult English. No need. Simple, easy to understand, but contributing. Okay. All right. Now, before you go for publication, submit to one journal, Submit to write one. Don't just say that I'll submit to here also, here also, here. Just write one, one. Check your grammar, check your English. Whatever journal is asking for you, please give that. Just don't cry by the end. My paper got rejected. I gave everything. No, you did not give everything. Apart from good quality of your paper get rejected by many other reasons, which you think you had everything in your paper, but you don't. Okay? All right. Important ethics, which you can't ignore. Copyright issues, plagiarism, conflict of interest. All these documents should be attached. Identification of the author, lack of acknowledgement of previous authors, previous researches, falsifications of the results. These you need to look into. You can't misconduct on all these things. Okay? Just pay attention to all this. Now, very important is data fabrication. Now, many times I have seen that in just order to just get your paper published, students what they do is just false data, right? Just make up the data and just write it into the paper. Don't do that. If you are smart, journals are advanced than you and you get caught. Okay? All right. Next is simultaneous submission. Now, simultaneous submission, what happen is many a time students do it, but good practice is that once you are done with one submission, if they reject it, okay, then only move to another one. Okay? Right. Okay. Why your paper gets rejected? Your analysis is wrong, your hypothesis is not clear, methodology is weak, results are not clear, ethics are not being followed. In short, major reasons, methodology. So focus on strong research methodology. All right? Okay. Now, what's next? If, you know, conditional rejection makes the changes, do it. If, if you have chance that certain changes needs to be done, submit it. If there are no change chances of submitting to the same one, submit it to some other change, some other journals. Okay? But if continuously your paper is getting rejected, then I think your paper needs to get some attention. Okay? Why that everyone is rejecting your paper continuously? You need to look into your paper. Okay? So it's not like that your paper can be bad, but if everyone is rejecting, they needs to get be looked at. Okay? All right. All right. So now it's time for us to have a discussion with each other. It's time to have some questions. Okay. So, okay. So, first question is if you publish a paper in predatory journalism by no, if you published in by mistake, then paper is published. We can't say we can't do anything now. Steps to be followed in any journal. See, this is the paper structure, Meenakshi, which you have given. Can apply manuscript multiple journal at a time? I have answered this, Guna. Charts and diagram we can add in our journal. Meenakshi, we add charts and diagram in our paper, not in the journal, okay? We add in a paper. Yes, it can be. About page journal we discussed, Meenakshi, okay? In which journal we have to publish research paper, that depends, Mr. Ashok, on which domain you are in. I told you, Dr. Ritesh, we discussed about this. I have given you some links. If in introduction section will present about if in introduction section will present about years, scientific inventions which has been already happened in past, then that content come under copy paste. How we can write pure data without rephrasing? Rephrasing. Are going to get a copy of the letters to submit. Micheline, I did not get your point. What you're asking? What are different types of Micheline? What you are asking? I am not getting your points. Different copy of letters. I did not understand. You are asking that letter which I showed you, or what? Can you please ask? Can you please ask again? Aman is asking different types of SCI journals. So you have specific scientific journals, you have open access journals, you have general scientific journals, you have subscription based journals, you have many. Okay. Can two paper publish on same data? See, on same data you can publish, but on different objectives you need to discuss the results. Okay. For data analysis, how many samples are required? Elizabeth, it's a very vague question. For how many samples are required? Your object depends upon your objectives, your research questions. You will be getting it into my PDF PPT. As a novice researcher, where can we publish our paper? Depends upon Karuna, where you are. As I told you, you need to see the journal which have mediocre impact factor will also go. Okay, if paper in journal when active and then disconnected is considerable. No. For how many years it was active? How many papers to read for literature review paper? Mr. Jamil, this is a very, I mean, this is very, these kind of questions, Mr. Jamil. I mean, I can't say you read 50 questions and your literature will be completed. I can't say that. Any research, how many samples are required? I'm doing DBA. Elizabeth, this question needs, see, you are doing DBA, you need to sit with your supervisor. This depends upon what is your objective, right? You're doing qualitative, quantitative. These questions need to be discussed like that. Okay, how many pages required for review? What? Oh, guys, for review article like 8 to 10 pages at least. How to choose the topic to publish your paper without any background of research, only completed the academics? Where do you start from? It start with your research interest. Free journals of engineering. I am not from an engineering background. Mr. Marco, I'm not from, but I can tell you, like, I think IET journal is an open access journal. See, free journal means open access journal as well. Akanksha, whether it is mandatory to have a peer review journal while doing PhD, that depends upon your university guidelines, Akanksha. Yes, Micheline, you'll be getting my PPTs, so in that you'll be getting that letter as well. Transactions and journals. Aman, journals are transactions and journals. Aman, you're asking me? I'm getting questions out of all the words today. Yeah, Aman, I got it. I got it. You answered yourself. See, journals are very specific when you talk about journals publish very specific interest papers like Journal of Education Management. When you talk about transactions, they publish on broader interest. Okay? They publish on broader interest. That's the main difference. The publication is done on non-peer reviewed. It is like to get rejected in interviews. No, Akanksha. If it is done, it is done. Don't think about what has been done. Journal is basically a record of of transactions. You can say that. Who is answering who? I'm a new registration for PhD. What's my first step? Finding a topic. Minimum time period for paper publication. At least 3 to 6 months. Jaguar next. I think Jaguar next is taking all the time to answer on my behalf. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you. Akanksha, don't worry. If it's not a problem, don't worry about that. See, guys, if you are from your specific, what do you say that? From your specific domain, like somebody's from psychology, somebody, you guys can know better than me. Like best Indian journal from psychology. You should know it. Okay? Article can submit multiple it should be otherwise. Journals can submit multiple articles. Okay? Yes, Mr. Ramesh, you can find. Depending upon your interest area, you can find. Ma'am, research paper is on scientific topic and journal is a collection of articles, right? Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. After selecting the topic, how to approach into the topic, do we need to find the problem of the topic? Read then the literature. What is been already published related to that topic? Pankaj, read about that topic already been published. Dr. Kriti, I have discussed about predatory journals. Thank you, Karuna. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Can we take our article out of search journals? Out of what journals, Dr. Kriti? See, once published, that are published, okay? But make little changes and then you can consider publish it into some other journals. Okay? Yeah. Make little changes in the paper, but I next time be considered. Yeah. Any more questions anybody's having? See, you have Cresswell. What is the topic of the paper is not very much discussed before and is very new in that case. We look for high impact journal. Very high impact. See, Prakriti, if the topic of the paper is not very much discussed already, and if you are a new researcher, I would say do not look for a very high impact journal at very worst go. Okay, then don't go for. I would not suggest. See, being a new researcher, I'm saying for a seasoned researcher, it's okay. For a seasoned researcher, it's okay because it's okay. See, all right. How to navigate PubMed? It's like very easy. Enter your keywords, key concept, whatever you want to search upon. Enter the terms. Press search. Simple. Okay. It's very easy. Yeah, sure. See, Q1, Q2, these are the categories of the search. Basically, Q1 is occupied the top 25% of the journals. Q2 is basically 25 to 50% of the journals. And Q3 is the remaining. So Q1 is obviously the cream of the journals, which I am referring is to the people who are not very seasoned researcher, is the Q2 category. Okay. How many pages are required for thesis, ma'am? Depends upon your university. Generally, for a DBA is 150, 160 pages. For Mr. Biju, it's different journal, different payment. Nikita, I just explained. Elizabeth, it's very difficult to discuss like this at this point in time. Talk to your institute. Aman, talk to your institute. So, we have any questions further? Prakriti, these categories are being ranked according to the impact factor. So, the high impact factor are Q1. Below than them, Q2. Below them, Q3. Uma depends upon your interest. We don't publish a journal, we publish an article or a paper, Lavi. Can I get physical copy? Yes, depends upon. See, these days, everybody gives you a e-copy. If they sends you a link that a paper is published. And depends upon the journal as well. Uma, I just answered. Guna, I answered your question as well. Academia also. Mr. Marco, there is a site. Kanksha, as a research, is it compulsory to give a name of a research paper? If you are pursuing your research PhD, yes, you have to. Nikita, I just explained here. I told you whatever concepts you want to find, you just go to the key concept to the search, enter the terms, and then just press enter. Yeah. See, withdrawing the paper once it is published is generally not possible, Mr. Ahmed. Mr. Biju, it depends upon the publication time of journal to journal. Any questions? Anybody? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you. See, you yourself said you want to do in marketing. Your half of the work is done, Ravi. If you have any supervisor, kindly get in touch with the supervisor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Sham. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Miss Uma, it's upon, see, depends upon your interest as well. Yes, Mr. Biju, PPTs will be shared. PPTs will be shared. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, guys, we'll be meeting next Saturday, like we always conduct the webinars, and looking forward to meet all of you there. So, have a safe and happy Diwali, all of you who are celebrating Diwali. So, looking forward to meet in the next webinar. Happy Diwali to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Seema. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.